what's that movie? Is it Achilles, where she tells him, the Trojan, she tells him you can go to war and die and be remembered forever.
Yep.
Or you could be forgotten.
Yeah.
I started thinking about that in my head. I was like, damn, when I die, I want to be forgotten.
No,
I don't want to be forgotten. Like, I want my kids to remember me, but then my grandkids, eventually I'm going to be forgotten.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, damn, I need to leave some kind of legacy out here. Like, you know, that's why one of the reasons I started the podcast, I was like, I got to leave something behind. I
hear that, man. Like, one of the things that I learned from my best friend Dave was like, document everything.
Yeah.
So almost my entire career, right, has just been, like, every day I film something. And even if it doesn't live online, it lives on these drives that I have. I'm sure you have a bunch, you know, just full of shows and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and think in 20 years or even after you're gone, all of this stuff, even as weird as it might sound, this conversation we're having right now is going to live on the internet. Yep. And your kids and their kids and their kids are going to be able to watch it and say, damn, he was good at what he did.
Yeah. That's
right. How cool does that feel, bro?
That's crazy, right?
Right? Man, that's wild.
But I think about the internet all the time, too. It makes me think about how lazy kids are sometimes. I know I'm like one of them gropey old man.
Yeah. Yelling at the clouds.
Yeah. Like, cause then I'm like, for example, the podcast, I've done running business. I didn't know what a Sony camera was, what a mic was, like nothing. So I just was like, man, how am I going to do this? I started typing. I was like, oh shit, you just type in the internet.
Yep.
And it's right there.
YouTube. You can learn everything.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell is wrong with these damn kids? Like, y'all should be freaking out of control. We should have flying cars already.
I know. But it's a generation now that would rather have Jordans on their player in 2K than on their actual feet.
Yeah.
And that boggles my friggin' mind, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, like the first time I see my kids watching other people play games.
Yeah.
So I'm coming in the room and I'm like, what are you doing? Watching Minecraft? Why don't you play Minecraft?
No, I like so weird.
Or like I can remember, I want to say it was my nephew. When it was a while back, but they were like, hey, let's go play basketball. And I'd go throw on some shorts.
Yeah.
And this fool sits down in the living room on the PlayStation.
Oh, no. You're like, oh, that kind of basketball. Yeah, what do you think I was talking about? I thought we were going
to go play basketball.
Yeah, like hoop it up, kid. What are we doing? That's so funny, man.
Yeah. So how did you transition from rap to radio?
Man, it was an interesting one. And let's put a timestamp on it to kind of help paint this for you. It's about, I want to say 2011, 2012, right? And I'm releasing music and I'm doing shows in my hometown and like people are coming to see me. It feels pretty cool. I got this whole, and maybe I can get you some clips that you can use for B-roll, but I had this gimmick and my movement was called Flip Shades and Nikes. And everybody that came to my show would get a free pair of Flip Shades. So like the visual was amazing, right? But I got to a point where I couldn't get every DJ in my town to spin my stuff at the bars and at the clubs. So I was like, fuck them, dude. I'm going to become the best DJ in my town. And you mentioning YouTube sparked this in my mind because I spent months in my basement after buying my gear, learning how to beat match, learning how to mix. And I learned all of that on YouTube because no DJs in my area wanted to teach you anything. They were all gatekeepers for the most part.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, which I feel is like a generational thing. I feel like nowadays nobody really gatekeeps anything, or at least that I've experienced. It's always like older heads, you know? Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm going to become the best DJ I can. So I start playing bars and clubs and sandwiching my songs in between whatever's popping at that time, right? Whether it's like Britney or Flo Rida or Kesha or Pitbull, so people have to hear my stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Just mix it in.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool.
It was working too.
Yeah, and it actually opened up a lot of doors for me to the point where there was our resident mix show host on my hometown station, Q97.9. His name was DJ Verbatim, was stepping down, and they needed another DJ to take his spot. So everybody sent in their tapes, right? And I got picked.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I get to DJ on the radio for 30 minutes, 5 days a week for free. Go me, right? But at that time, I didn't care because my name was on the radio and it was the coolest feeling in the world. And it's my hometown station that I've listened to my whole life. And slowly that kind of turned into, well, how would you like to co-host the night show? Well, just so you know, I never went to school for this stuff. They're like, it doesn't matter. We can tell you kind of have an apt for it, right? Okay. And bro, I'll tell you, some of my first shows were rough, really bad, because I think a lot of us, and maybe you experienced this when you first began your show, you try to be what you think you're supposed to be rather than just being you. At least that's how it was for me.
You want to try to get the views.
Yeah. So I was imitating what I thought like the radio jock was. It was rough. It wasn't until I like really settled in and found my voice years later. But ultimately, that's how I got my foot in the door.